Hi guys, Tom from the 100th Monkey here. We're at ECETI and I have Joel Garbin with me. Joel, how do you like ECETI?
This is a great place.
What a place, isn't it?
This is an amazing place, Tom.
Yeah, you've been coming here for quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah, for about 13 years.
Yeah. So you're not seeing anything new when you see the ships fly over, are you?
Well, it's not just the aerial phenomena here. It's a lot of the interaction with the people who are coming from all over the world to have a personal experience of all the stuff that can break open here at James's Ranch.
Right.
So I enjoy all of it, and it's also a great place to have a personal retreat. So to come here to recharge the batteries.
There you go. So you're getting out there and you're really helping to raise the consciousness of what the possibilities are in our future for energy.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff are you seeing out there, and is there anything that you see coming online that really has some potential that's getting you excited?
Well, I think undoubtedly what's generated the most enthusiasm lately is the technologies that are based on nickel and hydrogen fusion.
The ECETI type
the
stuff?
The ECETI, right. Yes. That's the Andrea Rossi invention. And now that has had some excitement in the new energy community for approaching 2 years. But what's new is that there was a fairly recent series of third-party verifications of the technology by a group of university scientists from Europe, and their findings were very positive, very strongly supportive that this is real, and that the energy density of this particular variant of the nickel hydrogen fusion is at least 10 times as energy dense as gasoline, and maybe as high as 1,000 times more energy dense. And that's you're talking game changer there.
Yeah. So what about one thing I thought about and questioned about the ECETI technology? What kind of costs are involved with the nickel and the recharging? Say these things run for like 5 years, is from what I understand, is what they're estimating that they run, and I assume they've had some out there field testing for quite a while. What kind of recharge, do you have any idea of what kind of costs would be involved in a recharge on that system?
Well, I don't know the detailed costs on that, and I'm also not sure that there's been any that have been running continuously to know what the actual depletion rate is of the reactants in there. But what we can say is that nickel is a very common element, and it's very inexpensive, and hydrogen, of course, is very cheap. So compared to conventional fuels, this is an order of magnitude or greater, lower cost, and it's very compact because of the energy density. So you're looking at the ability to generate high thermal output in a relatively small footprint, small device, and using reactants that aren't going to produce any harmful emissions in the way of greenhouse gas. There's nothing poisonous coming off the process, no toxic metals or anything like that.
That's huge.
Yeah, and there's no harmful radiation that has been detected from this either. So it does truly look like it's passing muster as far as the what might be the reactants from the process. All that seems to be the case is that there's some transmutation of the nickel into copper.
Right.
So it does definitely imply that there's nuclear processes involved.
Right. So that's I kind of see that would be an excellent replacement for all the coal and nuclear and natural gas and all the other the plants that we have out there running in the world right now.
Right.
And every one of them sturdy.
Yeah.
Every one of them affects the environment in some form or fashion.
Well, including nuclear power.
Exactly.
As well.
Exactly. And that's probably one of the most dangerous that we have out there.
Right.
I guess I left that off my list. but for in this field that that our show covers, the woo-woo world, that word free energy is out there, and the ECETI obviously it's not a free energy.
Right.
It's definitely not. It's a really good idea.
Right.
And I am really excited about seeing this come out in a large way.
Yeah.
But people keep talking about free energy and gathering that stuff from the ether or whatever. Have you seen anything along those lines that's got you intrigued?
Well, you know, when people use the word free energy, what really is free is the fact that the vast and infinite reservoir of energy that's being tapped into by these processes, whether it is something like a magnetic technology or perhaps a cold fusion genre technology like the nickel hydrogen fusion. I mean, these are essentially inexhaustible sources for us to tap. And so from that standpoint, they're as free as the wind or the sun or ocean currents or geothermal processes. But it doesn't mean that the device itself is going to be free, because certainly it won't be free. There'll be a cost attached to that, just like anything else that's a good or service in the real world here. But it has a potential to be much, much less expensive than current energy devices. And that's a good thing, because people vote with their wallets. Right? So if this becomes very attractive to the consumer or to businesses because it's going to save them a lot of money, that is the most practical way to generate enthusiasm for a new technology. And we're talking about technologies that are highly disruptive to these huge infrastructures, disruptive to the cartels that are behind it. I mean, you think about it. I mean, energy is one of these businesses where everyone knows that it is monopolized. There are actual cartels. OPEC is a cartel, so that works against consumer interests. Well, something like these new energy technologies could really disrupt that and provide an opportunity for people to save money, to perhaps free up time, invent new businesses that have the energy technology as a complement to some other derivative, other business ideas, and unleash additional creativity. I mean, who knows what could spring out of all this.
I mean, the future's wide open there, and we've got some really smart cookies on this planet that are coming up with stuff. You've been kind of loosely associated with a couple of films that have come out recently. And I'm kind of excited about some of the folk, especially in particular Sirius, the way that they're kind of focusing on developing a lab and some place to bring some of these resources together. And I know you do similar things through your website and through your organization. Would you share with the...
Yeah, well, I run an organization called New Energy Movement, and what we do primarily is we educate about the need for serious and urgent support for breakthrough energy technologies. We feel that this is at the core of the potential solutions that could be employed to address all these complex global problems that we have, whether they're the environmental issues that we have, because we're kind of dancing on the precipice of some real environmental collapse situations, whether it's ocean habitation, whether it's forests, whether it's the mining of toxic resources, and on and on. And there's more population pressure all the time for these extractive industries. And the pollution that results from that has been poisoning the environment to a high degree, and it's dismaying. But then there's also the socioeconomic problems that we have right now.
That's where I was just getting ready to go. I mean, you bring to the table a lot of some really good points about what it's going to take for this in the masses to be able to accept and bring on board this stuff.
Yeah. Well, we have a situation where wealth has been concentrating in a pyramid type of fashion, and it's leaving a tremendous and growing underclass of citizens on this planet, including in countries that were thought to be the most stable with the middle class, like the United States. It's definitely the cream's rising to the top, and everyone else is just kind of muddling along, and that really stifles creativity. That is not a situation that is in the best interest of our planet. The more you tend to have this separation into haves and have-nots, the more likely you are to have unstable political circumstances, warring over scarce resources, and underclass of citizens who don't have education, acculturation that normally would provide stability, fails, and you end up with a whole generation of young people who are angry and dissatisfied, and angry young males who find themselves disenfranchised from employment or the political process. They're going to take out that testosterone in ways that may be very destructive, and I think we see a lot of elements of that in the world right now.
Right. Well, I think you're optimistic too about what we have coming.
Yes.
What do you see as in like 5-10 years?
Well,
we understand we have quite a bunch of hurdles to go over, but
right. Well, I think what we should expect to see within 5 years is at least a few commercial applications for some of these technologies, particularly some of the cold fusion genre, whether it's the nickel hydrogen fusion, where there's not just one player in that. It's not just Andrea Rossi from Italy. There's actually a Canadian entity, Defcalion, which started in Greece but now is in British Columbia, Canada. We got a couple of startups in the United States, Breluin Energy. We've got Lenuco as well. So this is good because there's competition, which and these are real companies, and they have technology. They're diversifying. They have funding, and they have good teams of researchers, professionals supporting these. So that's all very, very encouraging, because you want to have a robust field of competition in the energy sector here, in the breakthrough energy sector, because that attracts more capital, it attracts more interest, and is more likely to bring about market penetration faster than if you just have one player. And if you have one player, you're much more vulnerable to having a control situation that does not serve the interests of the public. It could be monopolized. It could be acquired and shelved by vested interests that would just as soon see it go away. But the field now is starting to see some healthy growth, and that's very exciting to me.
I was actually, during your talk yesterday, I was really surprised to hear about the companies here in the U.S. I was just like, whoa, really? Yeah. The U.S.? Right. Canada doesn't surprise me, and Italy obviously doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know that we had startups here. Yeah. That is awesome.
Well, it's good. It's good.
That is awesome.
And for someone like me who's been a strong advocate to get the U.S. public and capital from U.S. financiers into this to support the breakthrough energy inventors, I'm just like, okay, well, it's about time, because we see Rossi's from Italy, we see Roger Stringham, the Sono fusion pioneer, who is an American citizen, and we've been advocating for years for his technology because it's robust, it's repeatable, it's been peer reviewed. It's actually was an Israeli entity that came forward, a very good group, a very, very smart and savvy group, but they're going to be the ones that move this thing to market rather than the Americans, which so that was it was a disappointment that it's not going to be carried forth by Americans, but it is going to move forward by an Israeli group. So at least there's good group backing it, but there definitely are encouraging signs that the American financial community is going to get on board, because there's a lot of pride and ego here, of course. The U.S. is going to be the best, exactly, and all that. So no one's going to want to play second fiddle. And even though the government policy around a lot of these breakthrough energy technologies, including the ones I just mentioned, it's non-existent. They really haven't had any policy acknowledgement of these. All of the new energy related policy boosts have been around conventional renewables, wind, solar, biofuels, incremental change, smart grid, this type of stuff, which all has its place in the clean energy portfolio. but not nearly robust enough to carry us to where we need to get and as fast as we need to get there. So we gotta look at all of the options.
Right. Well, I'm definitely optimistic. I mean, I've been watching this stuff intently for a few years now.
Yeah.
And I've definitely seen growth. We still seem to be lacking quite a bit of attention from the media, the mass media, and I'm really waiting for that to kind of ease up and some of these things to start getting out there. And I truly trust that they will.
Yeah.
When we start having people that put stuff on the market like the ECAT or some of these other technologies are actually starting to be bought by people, the media won't be able to, not cover it.
Well, but I also look at it, Tom, you being in the alternative media, there's going to come the point where the mainstream media can be tired of being scooped all of the time by you guys.
Right.
So they'll step up to the plate, but they're just not willing to lead in the case of what we're talking about.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you and find out more about what you're doing and what you support and everything, what would be the best place for them to go?
They can go to the New Energy Movement website, which is newenergymovement.org, and you can get me at the email address director@newenergymovement.org, and we welcome the inquiries. There's all kinds of opportunities to support what we're doing.
Got a book out there too?
Yes, right. Breakthrough Power: How Quantum Leap New Energy Inventions Can Transform Our World. And you can find that from the New Energy Movement website. It's also on Amazon, and you can find it at breakthroughpower.net.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for sitting down with me for a few minutes. Yeah. It's been an interesting weekend, and it's been an absolute pleasure getting to meet you.
Yeah, it's great. Great. Thank you so much, Tom.
All right. Thank you.